Gotham, and Merry Christmas! I hope you're watching Batman. This one's for you.
Control initiated. Parade override engaged.
What the hell was that? Hey, kids! Santa Flash is back!
Bruce, you didn't get him a gift certificate.
No. Cash.
Yeah, can I help you?
Yes. We're looking for the legendary Kevin Bacon.
We're looking for the legendary Kevin Bacon.
I just said that, Drax.
Jill, there's just no way to explain the devastation right now, as the Life Day Parade turned Christmas Parade turned massacre unfolds before us. Both Life Day and Christmas have been ruined forever by...
Data. Hologram. Now.
What?
There we are. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Marvelous Discussion. So, for those of you who saw us live on Sunday, we had a bit of technical issues, but now we're trying again. And I know, there's something else you want me to talk about right now. I am well aware of that, but we have some unfinished business first. And after that, we'll get to talking about what I know you guys want me to talk about. But in the meantime, we are on to Iron Man 3, and please welcome, as I bring on my marvelous co-host, Socks Bulletins, how are you doing, man? I'm glad to have you here right now for this review. Socks, I'm glad that you're here. Socks Bulletins, I'm glad you're here. Socks, I'm glad you are here.
I'm not gonna miss the musicals when I'm gone for a month. I'm not. I'm really not.
But you love musicals.
And you love the idea of Captain America can always beat Batman. So we're even there, buddy.
Even though Batman did beat Captain America.
That's not what I read. I know you can beat me, Avenger, but it would take you a long time to do so.
You said could, not would. Batman did beat Captain America.
Anyway.
Okay. So Zod Rider should be joining us momentarily, but in the meantime, you got Socks and you got me, and we are going to give you a great review today. And before we get here, though, yeah, so Zod Rider comes at some point. We can revisit this, but remember, One Punch Man coming out 2026. You got One Punch Man, you got the Cordovan Speedster. You excited, Socks?
Oh man, yes, I really am, because this is going to be amazing. Zod is really putting in a lot of work, dude, and I gotta give him his credit, man. He's putting in a lot of work, and this can be good. I have faith in our boy.
I do too. I think it's going to be great, and you know what? I'll move on because I have a feeling that when Zod joins us, we'll revisit this. So, but guys, check out One Punch Man. And now, so I want to stress right now before we talk about this. This is strictly a rumor, guys, okay? This is not confirmed. This could be some bogus person saying something, trying to get clicks. So this is take it with a grain of salt. Nothing is being confirmed here. But it's a rumor, and it's an interesting one. So I wanted to discuss this. So share screen. She-Hulk canceled? Tatiana Maslany, I'm sorry, I cannot pronounce her name, Maslany fired by Marvel. So it's claimed that Marvel is canceling the She-Hulk series on Disney+, with fans even questioning if she has been fired from the MCU. And yeah, Scooper's Daniel RPK, I don't know, I don't think his track record's really been that good, but originally was planned to have a season 2, but due to poor reception, it's probably not going to happen, which... And Al Sox, you saw that show. What did you think of it? What did the Marvel guy think of She-Hulk?
As a Marvel guy, that was one of the worst shows I ever watched in my life. Because I like the fourth wall breaking, because she does that in the comics. She even did that before Deadpool in the comics. I understand. That aspect is fine. It works. But CGI was bad. The first episode was okay. The episode with Daredevil I liked. The rest of it, not so much. I mean, I hated how they treated the Wrecking Crew. That was not the Wrecking Crew whatsoever. I didn't like how they did Frogman. I didn't like how they did certain other things. It's just like, if I had that device from Men in Black to erase memories, I would use it for that moment, just to get rid of that idea of She-Hulk out of my mind forever. Other than how I use it again to get rid of the Acolyte that my co-host had me watch. I'll never forgive him for that. No, you know what? I'll say this. She-Hulk was actually better than the Acolyte. And that's not saying much, but it's true. So.
My main issue with She-Hulk, honestly, here's the thing. I didn't necessarily mind the fourth wall breaking. My big issue is in the finale when they made it a plot point. that I did not like, and I don't think it worked for the MCU because here's the big issue. The problem is, oh, She-Hulk's in the real world. I'm like, the reality is she can never go in the real world because this is the real world. She-Hulk can't jump on our screen. What she went into was a fictional reality that's more closely based on our world, but it's not our actual world. So first of all, you lose that appeal too. So it's like I feel like it takes some of the charm out of the fourth wall break because it's like because it's another fictional universe. So what fun is it interacting with the audience? And like the audience is fictional. You know what I mean? It just and it kind of makes me think if she can do that, then it makes me look at the whole MCU differently now.
Sure.
And that was a big issue I had. Plus, again, it just was just again, not a great show. I mean, here's the thing: just because something works in the comics doesn't mean it works for the show, and you can still do it in the show, but maybe not to the extent. If they just kept her talking to the audience and that's it, I would have been fine with that. I had no issues with that. But the instant they made it a plot point in the finale, that's where I had my issues.
Another thing I want to bring up with She-Hulk, man. I know how you feel about recasting characters, actors, and so on. I get it. In this case, dude, if they decide to keep the character She-Hulk, which I really don't care if they do or not, it doesn't really mean nothing to me. But hypothetically speaking, if they do decide to keep the character, recast her. Please recast her because I can't stand this actress. And on a side note, recast Mark Hulk. Get rid of Mark Ruffalo because his woke having ass can go. And I'm fine if he goes because he is the worst. He's a horrible human being. Okay, take his weird looking hairstyle and go somewhere else, please, because I've had enough of him.
Yeah, and I've always said, like, whether I agree with the actor's politics or not, I always say if you're a public figure, you should not be getting political because all you do is you alienate half your audience and you represent your company. So, and that's actually kind of what we're get into.
Well, back in the day, back then, I don't know what happened, but when actors were doing either movies or shows, and this went on for decades, the Hollywood studios, the higher ups, would tell their PR people or agents to tell their actors, look, man, promote the movie, promote the show, don't talk politics, try not to talk too much about religion. If you want to say something about, thank God that I won this or got this, that's fine. But definitely don't talk politics and shut up about it altogether. Because, like you said, politics divide people altogether. So they need to bring that policy back. They really do. Nobody wants to hear your politics, okay? Nobody wants to hear you on stage saying this, and this. Well, and then your people that are paying to see a movie that you're in might say, no. And so now the studio just lost millions of dollars because you said this, and this.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. And so Batdan just failed. Batdan pulled up the wrong article. I was like, why aren't they talking about the whole Jimmy Kimmel thing? Because that's why she was being speculated to get fired. I picked the wrong article. So that is a fail on Batdan's part. So
It ain't the only one.
But yeah, so it seems to have okay, well that article seems to have disappeared right now, but basically what up, Sin Havoc? But yeah, basically, she kind of attacked Disney after the whole Jimmy Kimmel fire thing. And again, I'm not, whether that was right or wrong, we're not touching that. All I'm saying is I'm just going to remove this article. And if I can find it post-production, I'll add it. But
see, I'm sorry to cut you off, and I apologize.
Go on.
This is what people don't understand about Bob Iger. Okay? And real people in Hollywood. You got to be careful who you go off on, especially as your boss. She went off on her boss in a public forum. You remember when Victoria Alonso did that? When Bob Chapek was in charge and Bob Iger was still there? Chapek got removed. Iger got his spot back. And what happened to Victoria Alonso? She got fired because she went off on Bob Iger in a public magazine. Same thing with Peter Rice. Did the same thing. What happened to Peter Rice? Got fired. This is why Iger is more powerful than even David Zaslav is. David Zaslav asked for more money, and his shareholders and his board of directors told him no. This doesn't happen to Bob Iger.
No, exactly. Exactly, Socks. And that's the thing. Because, like, I mean, she went after Disney for firing Jimmy Kimmel that's her employer. And that's not a good... It's again, here's the way I look at it. I firmly believe in freedom of speech of this country. And I believe in the consequences that come with it. If she feels that what she did was right and her being fired was worth it for her, you know what? Good for her. I'll say that. Good for her. If she feels that she did the right thing and that was more important, great. But but you know, that's what you have to decide. I mean, and again, I don't want to go too much into that whole aspect, whether that was right or wrong. That's just, again, but that's why I always say actors got to be very careful when they get political because it comes with consequences. And let's be honest, she's probably not as well protected. If let's say Robert Downey Jr. did something like that, they wouldn't have fired him. He's too popular.
Right.
They were not going to fire him. And let's see.
Well, that's the thing about Downey, man. Robert Downey Jr. has been in Hollywood since the 80s. Okay, he's a main A-lister actor. Okay, this guy has been around since the 80s. You're going to look at Robert Downey Jr., you're going to know that this guy is top notch. Okay, he also won an Academy Award for a supporting role in Oppenheimer. So he's still, whether he got that award or not, he's still one of the biggest names in Hollywood. Who is this actress that played She-Hulk? She's a nobody. She did this show. I don't know what else she did. She is a nobody. She is replaceable. At the end of the day, she is replaceable. Downey is not.
Yeah, exactly, Socks. Exactly. And so that's why I'm just saying, guys, be careful because don't speak. If you work for a company, do not go after them, especially on a public forum, because if you lose your job, too, the thing is, Warner Brothers or Netflix, I guess I should say now, Paramount, Universal, they might see that actress and be like, do we want her on our show? Because she just went after her employers.
Right.
What guarantee is that she won't go after our employers? Because, so, point is, guys, this is a good lesson. Be careful when you speak out, especially if you're a public figure.
Sure. There is a thing in this country, in Hollywood, that no one really talks about, but it does exist, called the blacklist. If you're an actor and you get on that blacklist, your career in America as an actor is over with. That's a real thing. Ask Sean Young. There's certain actors that got themselves blacklisted in American films that will not be able to work. They have to go overseas to Asia or Europe or wherever because the blacklist is a real thing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think this is what Amber Heard did even. I think she isn't that why she went to another country so she could actually...
And where is she? She's in Spain. She's been in Spain ever since that whole thing with Johnny Depp that she caused. She caused that issue, and she lost, and she fled to Spain. Now Johnny Depp is getting his career back. Apparently, he's going to be coming back for the new,
Pirates.
Pirate. I think they're going to do a new Pirates movie. He's going to be in it, maybe. I heard that he was. But, you know, some actors, man, and the thing with actors is what people don't know, if you're going to call your shot because you think you're a name, you better know what the hell you're doing before you do it. I know a long list of Hollywood actors, man, that tried certain things because they thought they were a big name, didn't work in their favor.
Yes, exactly. That's just at the end of the day, the whole point of this whole story is be careful. And again, this may not be true, right? She may end up getting her role. Maybe they already filmed her scenes and she's just going to be in Avengers Doomsday and maybe not after that. Who knows? At the end of the day, this is a rumor, but if it's true, it's a good lesson. That's all I'm going to say. It's a good lesson. Because here's the thing, if this is not true and she's just still be careful. Just that's the whole point of the story. Be careful. And now let's get on to Iron Man 3. So Zodwriter unfortunately still does not seem to be joining us right now, but I'm going to bring up something he brought up on the last time we tried to do this, which was he brought up an interesting parallel that I didn't think about until he actually said it. He thought that this story was a lot like Batman Forever. I'm like, huh? Batman Forever? What does Batman Forever have to do with this? But then he brought up the villain of the movie tries to show the rich billionaire something, and the rich billionaire of the company doesn't see it, and the villain turns to evil. Looking at one of Sin Havoc's comments.
Yeah, did you see what he just wrote? Did you just see what he just posted? That's heavy. That is really heavy. Whoa.
Oh, I'm not Sin Havoc. I'm not touching that stuff. Okay, if it comes out publicly, we can address it. But until then, I'm not. That's just whatever to me. Until it's actually out there, I don't want to. That's very serious, and unless that's actually public, I don't want to treat it like fact.
Moving on.
Yeah, moving on. But anyways. But yeah, it's like a lot like Batman Forever in a way. And with that aspect of when Zod said it, I'm like, huh. I see it now. I really see it now. So, and then there's the whole kid aspect of it. So yeah, there's some differences too, because in some ways this movie's a lot darker than the previous movies, whereas Iron Man 3, whereas like Batman Forever was lighter than the previous two movies.
Right.
And then the setting of this is more like Batman Returns because it's Christmas time. But overall, I do see the parallels. But other than that, though, other than the Batman Forever storyline or comparison, what's your thoughts on the story, Socks?
I absolutely agree with Zod. He was right about that, because I didn't even think about it until he actually said it. And then I had to think back, because I've seen Batman Forever a few times in my life, more than a few, I should say. And of course, seen Iron Man. And it was like, yeah, I can see the similarities here. Definitely, sure. But it worked for what it is. I mean, for that film, again, we know by the time the end of the second act of Iron Man 3 kind of falls apart from what they did with Mandarin, which, but other than that.
I mean, again, there are similarities to Batman Forever. I'm just saying there are similarities and there are differences. I mean, to me, in my opinion, this is a weak story. It just feels so basic. Like, heroes tied to a villain. Again, like with Tony, it's like the last movie, he was tied to the villain. The movie before that, he was tied to the villain. And then the first two Spider-Man movies, even though they're not his movies, he's tied to the villain.
Well, they were supposed to originally go with the storyline Demon in a Bottle for Tony. Now, I never really read that. I heard people talk about it, said it was a real good story, Iron Man in the comics. So then I heard they were talking about doing Armored Wars, where Tony's technology gets stolen from different characters in the story, and he has to go and get it back and stop the AIM and part of the members in Russia and so on. So there's different ideas that are floating around. But to me, the worst part of this whole story was what they did to Mandarin. I didn't like that. That killed it.
Oh yeah, and we'll definitely get to the Mandarin himself, or the Mandarin, I should say. And just to clarify, I know Shang-Chi, I think, did some sort of retcon with the
Yeah.
Mandarin, but as far as I'm concerned, we're judging this movie,
Right.
okay? Like that movie came out years later,
Right.
so to me that has nothing to do with the quality of this movie. I know I kind of said No Way Home made the other films Spider-Man retroactively better, but I feel like that at least was planned,
Right.
whereas Shang-Chi was probably more like, people didn't like what we did, let's fix it. So I have to judge the movie based on the movie itself. But,
Yeah,
well, I mean, I'll say this, though. Whatever happens to Demon in a Bottle, I'll say this. If Batman was in that story, it would have been over in 2 seconds. But overall, I think we agree the story's kind of okay. But nothing special. Now the setting, the fact that it's Christmas time, which, it's funny because even though we're doing this at Crime at Christmas time because it took place during Christmas, the movie came out in May.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. It's weird that you're right. Unlike, say, Spider-Man No Way Home, that's a Christmas movie, right? And that came out in
Sort
December.
of. Well, it came out in December. It ends during Christmas time, but I think it's more like a fall semester movie.
Right. Yeah, you're right.
But then again, ABC Family's 25 Days of Christmas. I remember when I was young, they would show it was like they would do 25 days of Christmas movies, and they put Harry Potter on there, and they would show for the advertisement, they would show the Christmas scene. I'm like, it's the whole school year. Christmas is such a small part of it. I wouldn't call that a Christmas movie, but that's a whole nother rant that'll get me off topic. But I'll be quiet, Sin Havoc. It makes me happy.
Hey, Halloween makes me happy, so we all have our thing, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'll say this, the present aspect of it as you get older, that one is less desirable because I just buy myself what I want, but I like pretty lights.
I got no hate towards Christmas, dude. I like it for what it's supposed to be. People are supposed to be united and loving, that. That's a Hallmark card altogether. When I just said that, it doesn't exactly work that way. But one can dream, one can wish upon,
And you know what makes me even happier, Sin Havoc? Cell happening during Christmas time. And again, Sin, I don't know if you saw my pinned comment, but I promise you, I will have my thoughts on that in another stream. But oh please, every holiday is a Hallmark holiday. If we're being honest here, you think Halloween's not a Hallmark holiday? Valentine's Day, Easter, 4th of July, even Thanksgiving, they're all Hallmark holidays. Let's just be honest here. But I don't want to get we're gonna get really off topic. But I guess, Sykes, what's your thoughts about the setting of this movie and the Christmas, like the fact that it took place during Christmas time?
It works. I mean, it was a nice way to, tag along with it, I suppose is the word I should say. But I had nothing against it. It sometimes you gotta wonder though, is it meant to be a Disney? I'm sorry, is it meant to be a Christmas movie, or do they just want to shoehorn that thing in there just to get more money for tickets and all that stuff? Like, oh, make it a Christmas movie. Christmas movies always sell. No, they don't.
I think there would have been better I think it's a better marketing tactic if you actually make it release it in November or December. If you release it in May, I don't think that works as well. But
Right.
It came after Avengers. It came out after Avengers. But I mean, I think for me, it added something to the setting though. And I mean, because I don't know. I mean, the setting again, it takes place after Avengers. It's nothing really that special. I think the Christmas was just kind of, they have to take place during different times of the year. So This one took place during Christmas time. So, but yeah, I mean, overall though, it's an interesting setting. Interesting, it didn't take place during it didn't release during Christmas time, but I like the Christmas setting. I think it added something to it, especially during the snow in Tennessee. But overall, I like the setting. Especially, I like that it did take place in Tennessee a lot during that snow because it's always weird when you watch a movie take place during Christmas time and there's no snow. Granted, that has happened in Chicago the last 3 years. We'll get snow on Valentine's Day, but not Christmas. But for the movies, it's nice to see the snow.
I still have I didn't forget it, even though we had I caused my internet crapped out on me last week, and I apologize. It's my fault, guys. Blame Sock on last Sunday's stream. Blame Sock. Don't blame Bad Dan on this one. Blame Sock. I still have an issue with Iron Man 3. I told you about. We'll talk about it when you're ready. Where the mess up is in Tennessee.
Okay. Now let's get to the opening. What's your thoughts on the opening, Socks?
Tony working on that new armor of his. The bleeding edge technology, I believe it was. I think that's what it is. I think it's a bleeding edge technology. And he's implanted it. Now, if I remember correctly in the comments, he implants this nanotech between the bones of his body. So that's how he's able to control. He doesn't have to carry in a briefcase or anywhere else. It's like basically within the bones of his skeleton. And he injected it all into him. I kind of like that idea, it's kind of scary at the same time because if he didn't do that right, he could have killed him, right? Because Tony Stark is no Reed Richards, but he was smart enough to figure that out. So I give him credit for that. Surprised he was able to put past his ego to get around that. Okay, but that's besides the point.
Yeah, I mean that was definitely dangerous. I mean, again, he's not Bruce Wayne. He shouldn't be messing with stuff like that. But what was your thought on the?
That's you on Batman's nutsack. I love you, dude, but this is too much.
But what's your thought on the flashback part to New Year's Eve? What was your thought on that?
That was good. I actually now. It was funny because Tony's really trying to get that girl in the bed. Which we find out he does get her in the bed because Tony's a womanizer. That's just how he is. But he left the old boy on the roof for 5 minutes, which we knew that was BS. And I'm like, you're going to be back up on the roof in 5 minutes when you're with this hot-looking girl and a bunch of other people in the elevator. And you're telling this dude, I'll be up on the roof in 5 minutes. I'm like, I don't even believe that. Okay? You're talking about 5 minutes.
Yeah, that was douchey of Tony. I mean, it's one thing to just say no thank you, but to basically make you wait for them, it's like it's like being stood up on a date for crying out loud. I mean, it's like, damn, Tony, that was kind of cold. I mean, it would be one thing if you just said no, but
Tony is a dick, man. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I didn't want to read his comments, man, because I read some Avengers stuff growing up. I read other things with him in it, and every writer has always come out and said, look, man, great character, but Tony Stark is a jerk. And I thought to myself, keep him over there. I don't want nothing to deal with it. I'll read him. If I read Avengers, I'll read him if he's in a crossover or in one of the books that I like. But keep Tony Stark over there. Whatever and I'm saying this right now, whatever Tony Stark can create, my boy Forge from the X-Men can do the same thing.
And my boy Batman can do the same thing, but even better. But I like the opening. What I like about it contrasts Tony's character to how he was before he was Iron Man and how he is now.
I heard of it. I don't read Iron Man, so I can't sit here and say that I know a lot about Iron Man because I'm not a fraud like that. But I heard of the liquid metal. Is that when he was it was a few years ago where Tony went bad for a while and he created that armor and he was living in San Francisco and it supposedly cured Daredevil of his eyesight, being blind for a while. was it the infamous Iron Man storyline? Or no, the Superior Iron Man. That was it. Was it the Superior Iron Man storyline? I think that's what it was from, right? Oh, okay. Okay.
But overall, I think the opening's good. But one thing I don't like in this movie is Tony Stark himself. Now, I have a rant I'm gonna kind of go on, and I want to know what your thoughts is, Socks. And actually, for those who saw the live stream, this is kind of where we cut off. So this will be so.
My fault. My fault.
Yeah, but don't worry about it. It happens. Anyways, so I do like that Tony's suffering the PTSD. It makes sense. He was in freaking space, for crying out loud, and this isn't at that point. That wasn't something that was really normal. I mean, could you imagine? You're in space. You think you're gonna be stuck up there forever, and by a stroke of luck, you fall through that black hole. You end up on Earth, only to be saved by the Hulk at the last minute. This whole time, he's gonna suffer in space. He's going to fall down in the earth and die. That is traumatizing. I like that. And I would have, but Tony did something. He acts all cocky and he reveals to the villain his address, exactly where he lives. And you may think, that's Tony's character. That's something he would do. And here's the thing, Socks. I would have actually liked that for Tony. I would have liked that story arc for him, if not for one thing. One person, I should say. Pepper. No matter how Tony is feeling, I do not see him putting the woman he loves in danger like that. Especially after movie 3, for crying out loud. He should no. If there was someone I loved, I could not even imagine putting her in danger. Risking my own life to make a point? Sure. Risking her life to make a point? Never.
Absolutely agree. 100%. You're 100% right. Tony was 100% wrong for doing it. I agree. When I saw that movie in the theater when it first came out years ago, and just recently last weekend, I thought to myself, yeah, I know about Jocasta Sanhaber. I do know about that character. That's the daughter of Vision, I believe it is, if I remember correctly. So yeah, but when I saw that, I thought. See, but again, Tony Stark has an ego. His ego is like way out here, man. Okay? That doesn't justify what he did. I'm not saying that, because it doesn't. It was totally wrong. But in Tony's mind, that's how he rationalizes it. Again, totally wrong. I'm not defending it. It's stupid. But yeah, I didn't like that either, because he did put Pepper in danger. He put that other Rebecca in danger, and he lost his house and his belongings and everything else.
Yeah, yes, exactly. And it just felt so out of character for Tony. But the thing is, I liked him later in the movie, though, when he's stranded in Tennessee, and how he's able to adapt to the situation he's in. I thought that was clever. Or when during the plane crash scene, and he's like, how am I going to pick up all these hostages? And, I know, I'm going to do Barrel of Monkeys, which, it's funny, Socks. Did you ever see The Boys season 1?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Remember in The Boys where the plane's about to crash and Homelander can't save the plane because he can't carry all those hostages?
You mean the same plane where Homelander was going to sacrifice those people and let them die because he just didn't, he said he messed up the controls in the cockpit, said these people got to go and that's it. Yeah, I remember that.
Well, it's funny because the reason he did that is he didn't want to save a single person because he didn't want to admit that he failed.
Right.
But the funny thing is, I was thinking about Iron Man 3. I was thinking about that Barrel of Monkeys scene. I'm thinking, can't you just do that? You grab Mace's hand, mate, or I don't remember her name. It's been a while since I watched that show. But I don't remember her name.
I can't remember right now.
Oh, the person who's the Wonder Woman parody.
Right.
But I'm sure someone in the comments section will correct us on that. But I fell off The Boys a while ago. But when I was watching it, I was thinking, you could literally just do the Barrel of Monkeys from Iron Man 3. But
Again,
that was that was clever of Tony. That's the funny thing. Like I'm thinking about this more, and it's like I hate Tony in the first half. I love him in the second half. But the thing is, it doesn't feel like character development because he should have learned by now already. It's like here's the thing. Here's my thing with character development. It doesn't work if they just reverted back to their old ways from the previous movie. That's my big issue.
It's like look at it like this, okay? Also with Tony. Tony is giving Steve crap about what happened to, at the end of the Civil War about Bucky killing his parents. Steve knew about it. And he tried to protect Tony from it, but Tony gave into his emotions, right? Remember how Tony gave into his emotions about that? And I'm not saying Tony's wrong. I'm not saying it. I'm not saying Tony was wrong because that was his mother and his father. I'm not disagreeing with Tony. I'm just pointing that out. Fast forward to Infinity War, we see Star-Lord smacking Thanos when they got Thanos trapped, and Tony's telling him, "Stop! We almost got this. We almost got it all. Don't do nothing." And I'm thinking in my mind, dude, you gave into your emotions, and you're telling him not to give into his because he just lost the one woman he fell in love with. Who are you to preach that to him?
Yeah, but to be fair, though, the stakes were a lot higher when it was Star-Lord than when it was with Tony. I mean, let's be real. The stakes were a lot higher, Sox.
Well, I'm not saying they're not. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying when you're emotional, all logic goes out the window. That's a fact, okay? Your heart and your brain don't always align with each other on certain things. Your heart's telling you one thing, your brain's telling you something else. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just pointing out the fact that his heart, Star-Lord's heart, overrode his brain, and that's why he did what he did.
Yeah, I mean, it's still though. I don't know.
I get it.
You're
seeing it as a rationalist, which is fine. I'm not saying you're wrong, but when you know as well as I do, there are moments in your life where you're going to have to deal with a situation, whatever it is, where it might be very emotional for you. Your heart's going to tell you one thing, your head's going to tell you something else. You have to make that decision, what you're going to do. And you're going to have to live with it.
Okay. I'm not going to try to debate it anymore because we're at an impasse, but that's part of what makes Marvelous Discussions great, is that Sox and I don't always agree. Exactly. I love musicals. He hates them. I say Batman could beat anyone. Sox thinks Batman would lose to people.
Facts.
But overall, I guess any other thoughts about Tony Stark, though, before we move on?
No. We can move on.
Okay, Pepper. What's your thought on Pepper in this movie?
She definitely came a long way from being a personal assistant to being Tony's personal. I gotta clean this up, right? I can't say what I'm thinking. Being his lady. How about that? I'll say it that way. I won't say the way I was thinking. So I'll say his lady.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I don't know. I just feel like Pepper doesn't really do much in this movie. I know the ending. But aside from the ending, I don't think she really does that much in the movie, honestly. I feel like she's just kind of there most of the time and then just gets kidnapped.
Well, in this situation, in the third act, she did kind of save Tony by doing what she did to what's his name? Aldridge, Killian, and and so she did help him in that third act of the film. So
yeah, but I'm just saying before that though, it felt like her she was basically in the movie for the third act, not for anything else. But I don't know. I mean, I just very okay in this. Again, I think the actress isn't the problem. I don't think the character was necessarily written poorly. I understand. She was in the last two movies. She did a lot, and that's going to happen sometimes, right? There's only so many characters you can give screen time to. So I don't necessarily criticize the movie for this aspect because she had 2 movies already, so I don't. And she did do something in the third act. It's not like she was completely useless in the movie,
Right.
but I just don't think there's not really that much to say to her until the final fight. But the final fight was, it was cool. She saved Tony. She actually saved Tony's life for once, which was, considering all the times that Tony saved her life.
Right.
And, that was something I like, that Tony had that protocol for her with the Iron Man suit, how when Pepper's in danger, it actually goes on her, and the instant Pepper's clear, it goes to him.
Right.
I thought that was really clever of Tony, so I thought that was cool. And then, hey, she still has that Iron Man suit in Endgame, the one that she wears at the end.
Yeah, Rescue. That's the name. That's her code name when she puts that on, Rescue.
Is she actually like a superhero in the comics then?
I honestly, like I said back then, I don't read Iron Man, so I couldn't really tell you. I mean, I'm not that keen on that character. It's one of the few characters in Marvel that I really have no interest in because it doesn't appeal to me, And I don't hate the character, but it's just I wouldn't go out of my way to buy Iron Man comics every month.
Well, I mean, it's like Robert Downey Jr. is who made the character popular, for being honest here.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but we both know why they did that, because it kicked out the MCU. But there's a whole story there. We don't need to get into that. But I mean, again, I'm not an Iron Man fan. I just see him as, I know he has a fan base in comics. I get it. In fact, they're relaunching Iron Man #1 in a couple months, I think. And Joshua Williamson, which wrote The Flash, good writer, by the way. I read his Batman stuff. He's writing the new Iron Man series. Hey, Bishop.
What up, Bishop? Thanks for stopping by. But yeah, at the end of the day, I don't know. I just don't think there's too much to say about her. But again, I don't really have criticism for it because you can only juggle so many storylines at once. So I get it. And now I want to hear, what about Rhodes / the Iron Patriot? What's your thought on this character?
They took two characters and put it into one. Rhodey is War Machine. Iron Patriot is not War Machine. Iron Patriot is Norman Osborn.
Wait, really?
In the comics, okay, I'm gonna do this real fast because I know you want to get this stuff like this. After Secret Invasion in the comics, Norman Osborn held down the United States government and killed a Skrull queen, if I remember correctly. The United States government repaid Norman Osborn by giving him the power of S.H.I.E.L.D. He ran S.H.I.E.L.D. for a while. Then he was able to acquire the Iron Man suit, which is War Machine, and recall it as Iron Patriot, which led into sequel.
You just said don't talk religion earlier. Don't talk religion earlier. And you're like, re-Christian. I'm like, Socks, you just went against your...
My bad. But you're right. So he became Iron Patriot for a while. But then the United States government realized, hey, man, this guy's dirty. No freaking shit, this guy's dirty. What do you mean? You just found this out now?
Well, to be fair, Norman Osborn was controlled by the Green Goblin from those chemicals. He himself isn't really dirty.
Well, comics, man. One way or another, it's always going to come back around.
But I can kind of forgive that character merging because they didn't have the rights to Spider-Man, so they weren't going to be able to use Iron Patriot, the proper Iron Patriot. So I think I can forgive that character merging. And hey, one of the best Batman movies also has a character merging. Batman Begins.
Oh,
Ra's al Ghul and Henry Ducard.
Right, okay, yeah.
So character mergings happen, but I think in this one it worked. See, what I liked about this though is I think it made sense for Rhodey's story. Is that he's serving the government. It makes sense that they would want him to be a lot more patriotic. if you're fighting for the weapon, you want someone who's like Captain America, and I don't mean like personality. I mean the fact that his costume is the Stars and Stripes, is the shield. I think it made sense for this story, honestly, and I like the dynamic. I like that every time it's brought up, it's like War Machine, you're War Machine. Oh, like Iron Patriot. What? F the Iron Patriots. Not that they were saying it like that, but
Sin Havoc is right though. Iron Patriot did create the Dark Avengers. That was a government team to spoof on the Avengers, to be basically smack the Avengers. There was one, I can't remember his name right now in the comics, but this one character. He was a spider-like character with 6 arms, and Osborn was able to give him something to get rid of the 4 extra arms and make him like a normal person, but like a Spider-Man type character. And when the Avengers fought the Dark Avengers, Peter Parker Spider-Man fought this dude, and he goes, it was so funny. He tells him, what do you do when your spider sense goes off? And he's like, spider sense? And Peter was able to do something where it knocked this dude out, and Peter said to him, ain't I a stinker? See, that's my boy, because my boy will use jokes to mess with other people to drive him crazy. Yeah, he would drive Batman insane.
Batman literally has a villain called the Joker.
And Spider-Man has a villain called Norman Osborn, which is the Green Goblin. Same thing. Thank you.
My point, though, is you can't really... Batman's used to fighting a villain who uses jokes. I'm just saying. That's not exactly something that's going to scare Batman.
Oh, just bringing the Punisher, be done with the Joker already.
Oh, no. Punisher would be no match for Joker. And, Joker would kill the Punisher.
Joker would kill the Punisher. Joker would kill...
Yes.
You see this line right here? This line right here? It's going to be an aneurysm. It's going to pop right here. Nose is going to shoot out blood's going to shoot out my nose. I'm going to die in this chair because you keep talking about how good Batman is. And Sin Havoc, put that as a hashtag. Shock, aneurysm because of bad thing.
Clean that up a little bit. That's way too wordy for a hashtag, but something along the lines. Got to clean that up anyway. But yeah, sorry guys, we get off topic sometimes. It's what we do. But overall, I like Rhodes, and I like that he's able to adapt without his suits in the final fight. He's able to move around until he has a suit. He's able to save the president. You see why that he's a soldier. You can see that in this movie. It's demonstrated really well. And I love his friendship with Tony in this movie too. Like Rhodes is a really great character in this movie, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely, because they're buddy cop crew with them 2 guys, man, Tony and Rhodey. So I don't think you could do an Iron Man movie without Rhodey anymore because he's so iconic to Tony. So yeah, it works perfectly with them too.
And I don't care what they're trying to tell us. That was not a Skrull after Civil War. No. If they do that, the MCU is dead to me. I'm telling you this right now. If they do not retcon that, the MCU is dead to me. Do not do that. No. Okay, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah. He gives me a headache every single time. Either he talks about how good Batman is, or he does musicals. I swear to Christ, this guy's going to cause me to have an aneurysm one day. And I'm really going to come back at him and get this whole damn channel taken down by certain things that I say.
Batman could beat anybody. He could beat the Punisher and Thanos. He could beat Galactus too. He could beat Spider-Man and Captain America. He could beat Iron Man and the Hulk and Quake and Black Widow, all of them. He could beat Shang-Chi. He could beat the Reed, Mandarin. He could beat them all. Socks, Bulletins. Batman would beat all those heroes and villains. No, I do not care, Sin Havoc. They are going to retcon that. I don't care. Okay. Anything else you want to say about Rhodey before we move on?
We can move on.
Okay. Hogan. What's your thoughts on Hogan in this movie?
majority of the film is in a damn coma, man. But at least he tried. I gotta give him credit. At least, if he wasn't in a coma, he was starting to put a, badge, buddy, badge, ID, badge, ID.
It's funny that people get so annoyed by him with the security protocols, but in all seriousness, that stuff is important, though.
Yeah.
I know they're portraying him as obnoxious, but if people just think they can just break the rules, that's legitimately dangerous. Like,
right.
At work, we're told don't let any company you work for, don't let random people in the elevator. Don't do that. This is not some weird thing that Happy's being. So I give Happy credit for that. But here's the thing. I will say I liked his role in this movie better than the last one, and I'll tell you why. The thing is, the last one, he wasn't in a coma, sure, but he was there the whole time, just awkwardly in the background, not really doing anything. Here, yes, he didn't have a lot of screen time, but at least it served a purpose. Him being in a coma gave Tony Stark a motivation to fight the Mandarin. Because let's be honest here, why was this Tony's problem before that? If Hogan didn't get in that coma, why is this Tony's problem? Why is it Steve Rogers not going after him, or Bruce Banner, or Captain America and the Hulk? Why isn't Hawkeye going after him, or Black Widow? That's still a criticism I have for that. But anyways,
there's a reason for that, because when Iron Man 3 is happening, Captain America's doing Winter Soldier, Thor's doing Dark World. It's all happening at the same time.
There's actually it's a deleted scene, so it probably doesn't really matter, but there's actually a deleted scene in Iron Man 3 where Nick Fury has a day off, and it's a mandatory day off by S.H.I.E.L.D., and they're trying to get him to intervene, and he's like, Tony Stark's on it, I'm good. Wait, no. They can't be happening at the same time, because Winter Soldier should have Christmas decorations.
But if Winter Soldier was in Washington, D.C., right? Yeah, that's when... Yeah. Okay. Iron Man 3 is happening in California and Tennessee and part of Miami. I could have sworn I read somewhere they said it was all happening at the same time.
They always change their minds outside of that.
Yeah.
If it's not officially written in the movie, it's not canon.
Right.
Yeah, whatever, Scrooge. But my point is, though, I'd rather Hogan be in, just not be there than be there, but be there so awkwardly in the background. You know what I mean?
See? Sin Havoc agrees with me. It was happening at the same time. Hashtag Sock was right.
Yeah, Sin Havoc's wrong about a lot of things, though. So
that's messed up. You threw Sin Havoc under the bus.
This guy's a Scrooge, so I don't. So that's just whatever to me. But now I want to go on to this character, Jarvis. It's funny because I never put Jarvis was just kind of not really anybody, but I feel like in this movie he had a bigger role. What's your thoughts of Jarvis in this movie?
I like Jarvis, man. I really do. I agree. Sock is right. But yeah, I like Jarvis. I always did.
I liked him in this movie. I liked his. And by the way, Socks and Sin Havoc are wrong, guys. But anyways, I liked Jarvis in this movie. I feel like he just did a lot more. I like the way that he was stranded with Tony, and Tony's trying to revive him, and you really see how much Tony relies on Jarvis in this movie.
Yeah, and even the part where he's dragging the suit through the snow to the garage, man. Because you can't use it because so it's dead weight, and he's got to drag it along with him.
It's so funny. It's listening to Jarvis sounding like Vision, because obviously it's the same actor,
right?
Because Vision is literally Jarvis. But yeah, I don't know. I have not too much to say about him, but I kind of liked him in this movie. Felt like he did a lot more. Not still too much more, but Tony's nothing without his tech. That's all I'm saying.
Apparently,
Batman would find a way to adapt.
Apparently, you upset Sin Havoc because Sin Havoc has said something about you in the statement there. Oh,
I know. I read that. I read that. I'm just saying that you guys are wrong. They're not happening at the same time, and Skrull Roadie before Secret Invasions is not canon. That's all I'm saying. But moving on now. You know, it's funny. When Endgame came out and you see this random kid at Tony's
Right.
funeral, you're like, who is that? Who is that?
Right.
And they're like, it's the kid from Iron Man 3. I mean, and it's like, oh yeah, because you forget that kid's age. It's funny, like you see it, it's not like Simpsons where Bart Simpson stays 10 for 30 years. This is real life. These actors age, and I'm like,
Sure.
oh right, yeah, that movie came out about 10 years ago, so he looks a lot different than he did. But what's your thought on him in this movie?
I like that kid, man. I really did because he helped out Tony and Tony helped him out. But it was funny how he's driving Tony crazy, like talking about New York. He's like, "Are you happy now? You had to mention New York." I mean, he's literally just getting under Tony's skin, man. But it was fucking hilarious. I was cracking up. He was driving Tony nuts, and anytime somebody can drive Tony start nuts, I appreciate because Tony gets on my nerves. So it was funny as hell watching this 10-year-old kid drive Tony start nuts. Yeah, it's supposed to be Iron Lad. You're right. Wait, what? Will Iron Lad become the Maker? Are you for real?
Who's the Maker?
It's an evil version of Reed Richards.
Oh.
That's
Oh,
not
damn.
that's not a good thing. That's
I
not a
know,
good thing. So
I know.
yeah.
He's the smartest man in the world, or ever how smart the writer decides him to be. And I'm just saying, if it was like
Man, I
John
swear to God, if you
Krasinski-
say something about how Batman again, I'm gonna reach through this fucking screen and strangle you.
Oh no, I was just gonna say if it was John Krasinski's version of Reed Richards, it wouldn't be a threat at all because that guy's not smart. Mr. Tell Wanda exactly how to defeat your allies.
Yeah, that was wrong. That was stupid. I agree.
Well, the thing is, at the end of the day, smart characters are hard to write because at the end of the day, they can only be as smart as the writer.
Thin line you crossed in there, dear boy. But yeah, I'll go along with that. I was waiting for something else to be said by you, but you didn't say it, so we can move on.
What you were expecting was probably implied, but I've made that joke enough so far. So we'll get on to what I'm gonna say. Now, I like the kid. I know a lot of people don't like kid actors or kid characters. They can be obnoxious, but you know what? He was useful at least.
Yeah.
Yes, he asked him a lot of questions. He's a kid who gets bullied a lot. What do you expect?
Right.
But he's able to help Tony. He's able to assist him with his tech. And I loved how he tried to manipulate Tony into saying, he's like, "You're going to leave me like my father." I'm like, hey, first of all, Tony is not your father. You can't pull that card on him. He's a guy that you just met, if we're being honest here. But he's not a bad character. I think he's a good character. I know some people may not like him, but I think he served a good role in this movie.
And at the end of the film, Tony hooked him up with a lot of new tech in his garage.
Yeah.
He repainted.
You repainted that whole place, that garage. Yeah. He's going to be a threat towards anyone except Batman. So. Okay, Sit and Havoc. Here's a chance for you to be right. Who would win in a fight? Batman or Galactus?
God, here we go.
We'll see what Sid Havoc says. Because maybe I'll eat my words.
Sid Havoc is on my side, sir. The only one Batman could possibly beat in the Marvel Universe at all is probably Happy Hogan.
Okay, that's too far. That is no. Okay, anyways. Now, the Mandarin.
You're such a dick.
Okay, so I don't think there's anything I'm going to say that's going to come close to what Sox is going to say. Like, I think, because I'm not attached to this character, so I don't really have a strong opinion on this, but Sox.
They messed this up. They messed this up so bad. I'm sorry. The Mandarin is a really good character, okay? And
really?
Son of a bitch. Nova? He was supposed to be Nova? Damn, man. Nova's such a great character. Yes, I know about Nova. Nova's damn. Oh, that breaks my heart. Anyway, they messed this character up so bad because Mandarin is a very powerful character. Okay, a very powerful badass. A very extremely powerful at that. And to make it this stage actor, you'll never see me coming. That was pretty good. I gotta write this stuff down. I gotta do my own version of Trevor. Anyway, besides the point, he if they didn't do that with that stage actor and had the real Mandarin in it, this movie would have been at least a solid 9, possibly even a 10 for me. But by doing it, I had to take away some points out of this film because that was just dirty, man. I mean, come on. So I can't give that a pass.
And I can understand. I mean, like, I'm sorry, Sox, but I am going to bring up this analogy. If they did something like that with the Joker in a Batman movie, if like the Joker was some stage actor and Two-Face was the real bad guy, I wouldn't be okay with that. I would make that movie would be an automatic 3 for me, honestly.
Well, didn't they do that with that Joker 2 movie? That's not even Joker in the first movie. In the second one, and the real Joker killed that Joker in that movie.
Yeah, something like that. But Batman's not even it. I mean, that movie was. I mean, but that Arthur Fleck was with Harley Quinn, so that. I'm just saying, if you see that review that Zod, Josh, and I did, we didn't give it a good review.
Okay.
So, but
Osama Ben Kingsley. Yeah, Ben Kingsley's actually a very good actor too. You're right. You'll never see me coming. Damn it, that sounds just like fucking Trevor. How the fuck did I do that? And I got the beard to go along with it too.
Yep, you do. Wait, what? No, whatever. That doesn't. But Harvey, okay, Sin Havoc. Now you're just speaking nonsense. Harvey Dent's in Joker 2. Remember? Anyways, let's disregard Sin Havoc right now. But
again,
much love Sin Havoc.
Again, you throwing Sin Havoc under the bus, okay?
Yep. That I am. But
hashtag Sin Havoc under bus because of Batman.
But as for me, I mean, it was an okay twist. It wasn't really cleverly set up. There's nothing in the movie I'm watching where like, oh yeah, that makes sense. I see that now. Like even the movie where he's like, when he's like the Mandarin, you think he's the Mandarin, he's like, why aren't we rolling? And Aldrich is legitimately scared. I'm like, did they plan for that to be the twist, or did they just change their mind mid-scene, mid-movie? You know what I mean? Like, that's what it almost feels like. Yeah, Sin Havoc, but Harvey Dent was in the movie, and he gets his face. Like, it can't be connected. But so yeah, I don't know. I don't really have any love for that. The actor did a good job, and even for Aldrich Killian, honestly, just such a bland villain. Nothing really. The actor's not that impressive. It's the same story they did with the other villains, only the other villains were more interesting. He just was not interesting, honestly.
It was a revenge plot because he got stood up on a roof for 5 minutes to turn into a couple hours, and he decided, you know what, I'm going to get even because I got stood up on a roof. He acted like an ex-girlfriend.
Yes. This guy right here is way more interesting than this guy, okay? This guy, as we thought he was, not as he turned out to be, as we thought he was, this guy was interesting. This guy was not. So if you're going to do a twist like that, the villain has to be even better. And he wasn't. So, yeah, that because I like throwing people under the bus. Hey, I threw my own dad under the bus on my YouTube channel.
Sin Havoc, don't feel bad, man. He throws me under the bus all the damn time, but I gotta deal with him.
And just to clarify, it was that Superman review when I blamed everyone for why I watched the Superman film. I blamed my dad. So don't feel bad. I throw everyone under the bus. But I think we can agree, bland villain. I still don't really understand what his plot actually was, to be honest with you. I'm still confused what he was actually trying to accomplish from this. I just knew he was causing damage and they had to stop it. Like, I feel like they forgot to give him an actual goal. Like, what was his goal? I'm still confused what he was actually trying to do.
He wanted Tony to back him by creating this new technology. Tony said, no, wait for me for about 5 minutes. I'll talk to you then. He let them up on the roof. Then he got pissy. Went and found Rebecca. That Tony just banged her from the night before. They hooked up together with her, mixed his technology with her technology. Came back for revenge because he was stood up on the roof by Tony Stark. And he's acting like an ex-girlfriend that's jealous.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There you go.
And here's the thing, Sin Havoc. I don't care if he's like a cool character in the comics. I'm judging this movie, not the comics. He has to be good.
Yeah. They should, yeah.
Not a great villain. And now Maya Hansen, Tony's ex-girlfriend. You know, the one who... I don't like how they wrote her character, honestly, Socks. And I'm going to give my thoughts. I want to see your take on this. It was like the writers couldn't decide if she was a hero or a villain. Like, okay, so she's trying to... You think she's some damsel in distress... Or not a damsel, but like, you're in danger, Tony, because of this thing we worked on together. And then she puts him and Pepper in danger. But then all of a sudden, out of the blue, she feels guilty. Like, no reason. Nothing in her character made me believe that she would feel guilty. She felt guilty because the plot needed her to.
They set her up to be a failure because she was this way first, then she became this, and then she became that, and then they killed her off just to kill her off. And I just kept thinking when they killed her off, I was like, that's kind of weak.
Well, if she was a character like Madame Mask in the comics... Then, or if she was Madame Mask in the comics.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, here's the thing, Sin Havoc. If they don't, I have to judge this movie. And as far as this movie is shown, she is dead. If they retcon her 20 movies later, that doesn't affect this movie's quality as far as I'm concerned. As far as this movie was stated, she's dead. And even if she turns out to be alive later, her story was still confusing.
Yeah.
Like, her character was still written poorly in this movie.
Yeah, it is. You're right. I can't argue that. You're right.
So, it just... I mean, the MCU has been criticized for its villains, and I see why. I mean...
Yeah.
No,
you're right. No, I'm not arguing. Even our dear departed friend Mikey Sutton pointed that out with the villains in the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy. You know, like he said, Gunn can make great heroes. His villains are paper thin. And he was right. And when I heard him say that, I had to go back and watch out Guardians trilogy. Like, how did I miss that? But sometimes you have to have an outsider come and say, look at it this way. And like, I can't argue that. There are some villains in the MCU that are paper thin.
And Sox, I'll tell you this right now, is that when Gunny Poo gets fired, I'll say this, we're going to celebrate by doing a whole Guardians review on Marvelous Discussions. We're going to review all 3 movies.
You want to call me biased? Okay, I actually like those movies. I really do. I know, I do. I like his MCU stuff. I don't like his DCU stuff. You know, I admit it. You know, I admit it.
Yeah, and that's fine. He was better with Marvel, and I admit he was good with Marvel.
Right. You know,
I mean, I like the holiday. I gave the holiday special a good review.
I don't hate his MCU stuff. I just think he was stupid enough to go to DCU because he thought he was the next Kevin Feige. You're not. I'm sorry, but that's a whole other topic, and we're gonna get sideways on that thing altogether. If I start talking about that.
Anyways, final fight. So, what was your thoughts on the final fight in this movie?
I'm kind of conflicted on this one. I'm glad that they were able to have their final fight. Tony, gets Pepper back, beats Aldridge, that. I did not like the fact that he brought, and I like the fact that, I did like the fact that he brought in all the armor to help him out to fight these guys. He needed it. I just didn't like the fact that he blew up his armor. That pissed me off. I did not like that at all. I hated it. He's going to build more armor later on down the line. Why would you blow up the armor that saved your life? For what? A fireworks display? It was stupid.
Yeah, I mean, that's a fair point. I mean, especially because, fireworks aren't till New Year's. So he was doing them too early. So there's also that, too. You don't do fireworks for Christmas. You do them for New Year's. But I think for me, like, I like Rhodes in the final fight. I thought he was a badass. And I like the idea. I like some of the ideas of what they were doing with Tony's armor. And, the fact that I like that the armor didn't work for Rhodes, that Tony was like, it only worked for me, because that's smart. Because you don't want someone, like, what if a bad guy got a hold of the armor and was controlling the suit? That wouldn't be good. So it makes sense that he did that. I only have two questions, though. One, why would Rhodes put the armor, his Iron Patriot armor, back on right away? Because wasn't that still being controlled by the bad guys? Couldn't that still be... I mean, it was holding the president hostage. So, I mean... What made Rhodes? Why was when Rhodes able to put it on, he was able to use it perfectly? Like, why couldn't the president just break out of those chains then?
All good questions.
And my big issue too with the fight is like with Aldrich. It's like they kept killing him off, and then like, oh no, he's not dead. Ha ha. You get to do that once, but they did it like 3 times. I'm like, come on.
Right.
Like, stop. Is he dead now? Is he really dead? Because I don't know now. I mean, Sid Havoc will probably say he's not, because I swear no one actually died in this movie, according to him. But it just wasn't that interesting I mean, it's just very generic, honestly. I mean, this was the first one not directed by Jon Favreau, and, maybe they needed him.
Shane Black is a strange director. I know he did this movie, and he did a Predators film. I never saw the Predators film he did, but a lot of people said that movie was pretty good into the third act, and it fell apart. Just like this movie. It was pretty good until it fell apart. So it must be a Shane Black thing altogether.
And Batman did beat Predator. That actually did happen.
So did Captain America, and so did Spider-Man, and so did Wolverine.
And Batman beats Captain America, so...
Bullshit. Move on.
Ending. What was your thoughts on the ending of this movie?
I didn't like the fact that Tony took out the arc reactor, the mini arc reactor out of his chest. Because I felt that was a driving force for him as Iron Man. That, that's key to who he is. I know, and I know they're using it as something to evolve the character. I get that one. Hey, Josh, what's up, man?
What up, Josh?
But I just didn't like the fact that they took that out of him. It kind of bothered me. But I did like the fact that, he was able to help out Harley, beat the bad guys. Trevor went to jail.
Harley? The kid, yeah.
Harley,
right.
Yeah. Harley. And, but, I don't know, dude. This movie was not as good to me as the first one, which is great. The second one's really good. The only thing good about Iron Man 3 to me is Downey and Rhodey.
Oh, be quiet, Sid Havoc. Harley was not a bum. And I think for me, too, it's just a very generic ending. And then the post-credit scene. We wait for the post-credit scene. Oh, the whole movie was basically Robert Downey Jr. and his failed therapist, Mark Ruffalo. Oh, I'm sorry. Mark Ruffalo. I mean, it was kind of funny. Oh, I'm not that kind of doctor. I'm like, yeah.
It's not my temperament.
Yeah, well, you're not a good doctor in your actual field either.
Got that right. Can
And then other thoughts. Anything we missed?
I go into my rant about Tennessee? You want me to do that?
Sure. Go.
Okay. So Tony crash lands in Tennessee, does this whole thing with the kid, and the extremists and all this stuff, and is about ready to leave. Says goodbye to the kid, stuff like that. How the fuck did Tony get that car? He didn't rent that car from a car. He didn't buy that car or rent it or borrow it from anybody. He just walked to the car, unlocked it, and got in. Where did that car come from?
Probably hotwired it from an earlier scene. I mean, hey, you saw him break a guy's phone and he's like, bill me for that. Maybe that's what you did. He's like, he's going to hotwire it. He's like, left a note saying, hey, I took your car. Bill me for it.
It's a plot hole. It's a massive plot hole. When did he get that car?
See, I wonder if it's a deleted scene. Like, it's like a scene they took out of the movie thinking it wasn't important. And then they realized, oh, shit, it actually explained this scene, which...
Hashtag Tony Stark steals car.
Yeah. He's like Madam Web because Madam Web stole a cab.
They never say where he got they didn't show him going to a dealership and buying it. He just walked to the car, said what he had to say to the kid, open up the car, drives right off. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
And then, yeah, we'll send Havoc. You're a plot hole. I don't know what that means, but
That's the third time you threw Sin Havoc under the bus. Back then, throw Sin Havoc under the bus. That's the third time you did it in one stream. Sin, it ain't me, buddy. It's him.
Okay, but me, I don't really have any other thoughts of this movie. It's just a very okay movie. It's like, my main fixes, make the Mandarin the actual villain, and I think you kind of solve a lot of the issues of this movie, honestly.
Next movie we should review, my friend. Bad Dan throwing Sin Havoc under the bus. That's the movie we should talk about. Why does this keep happening?
Okay, moving on. Wrap up rating. Socks, final thoughts, and what's your rating?
It could have been a better movie. They should have did Demon in a Bottle. They should have did Armor Wars. The story was weak. The only good things about this movie was Rhodey and Tony. Everything else was not as strong. I only feel comfortable as a rating for this film. The only comfortable rating I give it, 5. I'll give it a 5. Maybe a 6. But right now, I'm going to stick with a 5. Because there are certain things about this film that just does not go right. I'm sorry, man. I mean, okay, let me say that again. I like Tony, I like Rhodey, I like the kid. Okay, Hardy. I did like the kid. So I'll give him that. As for the rest of it, no.
Yeah, I kind of understand your boat, Socks. I'm kind of the same way. I don't think it was. I think Tony was good, Rhodey was good, the kid was good, the story wasn't, the villain wasn't. Let me guess. Sin Havoc said like -100 or something.
No, he didn't say that.
No, okay, I see what he saw now. I'm gonna give this movie. I'm gonna disregard Sin Havoc, and I'm gonna give this movie a 6.59234658923456895234 out of 10. Should have been better than it was. Definitely the weakest of the Iron Man trilogy, and the weakest of, I think, Robert Downey Jr.'s movies, other than Civil War. I think Civil War is a better written movie than, or I think this is a better written movie than Civil War, but I don't know. Maybe Civil War had a higher rating. I don't remember. But anyways, I feel like Sox is mad at me. So yeah. Sorry. Hopefully Zod's okay. Hopefully he's doing okay. But he will be joining us when we bring up the X-Men review show coming out next month. The X-Men the review show returns next month in January. So be on the lookout for that. Is that okay, Sin Havoc? Do you have a problem with the X-Men the animated series? Because that review is coming back next week. So, and then Zod and I hopefully will be reviewing Five Nights at Freddy's 2 on Sunday. And then after that, yes, I will be talking about the Netflix buying Warner Brothers. I know people are looking for me to talk about that today, but I had it, we had to get this stream in. So anyway, Sox, anything coming up on your channel?
I'm going to do a Sots Rants tomorrow. I'm going to be talking about the Netflix deal with Warner Brothers and what I think is pros and cons and things like that. Not necessarily an attack, but not necessarily something to just point out, let people to think about. Is this a good thing or a bad thing? You make up your own minds, but I just want to talk about certain things and what I feel. Thoughts that I got going on in my mind about it. But other than that, hashtag Batman failed. Pass it along. You done pissed off a Sin Havoc, man.
Yeah, that's okay. I don't mind pissing. He's a plot hole. It's okay that I pissed him off.
Plot hole. So hashtag Sin Havoc plot hole. Got it. Okay. And that's the fourth time you do him under the bus.
I mean, for those of you guys that don't know, Sin Havoc and I are friends. But
not after today, you ain't.
100%. 100%. And Sin Havoc, I hope to see you in the chat when we do Netflix's Beautiful on Christmas. That's the name of this of the stream.
Hey, DC Talk.
What up, DC Talk? So, thank you, Sox, for joining me for this stream. And glad we were able to get this in. And good, Sin Havoc, good. And guys, if you like this video, please like, share, subscribe. Hit the notification bell for more unique takes, interesting thoughts, and great banter such as this. And on that note, any final words, Sox?
Stop throwing Sin Havoc under the bus. Ta-ta for now.
Have a marvelous day.